Welcome to Dear Alice, a lifestyle approach to interior design.
Hi there. Welcome to Dear Alice, everybody. We are going to do a fun one today.
Yeah.
Sue and I talk about chairs a lot in interior design, and we were like, let's do a podcast on chairs.
Guys, it's my favorite thing to buy. It's my favorite thing to shop for clients. It's everything.
When you're talking to them, you're seeing chairs in your head.
I do. I'm just
little
like,
thought,
what kind
little
of chair
thought
are you?
bubbles with chairs
are you a
in
Frenchy
them.
chair, like a antique chair. What am I? Am I a modern chair?
Mm-hmm.
Who you is? You know,
Yeah.
I gotta know. So
They have the most interest, I think.
100%.
You're just like, yeah, you can tell a lot about someone by their chair.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many different types of chairs, so I think we need to kind of break that down.
Yes.
First and foremost.
Let's do that for the people.
Okay, but
Let's talk
first, you want to
chairs.
talk about anything else?
I do. Yes. I do, because
Terrible segue.
I want to know. No, well, you and I, all of us, we see a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of great stuff. But we all agree you shouldn't just buy to buy, right? You shouldn't just buy any chair.
No.
So when do you know something is coming home with you? From clothing to beauty products, we see a lot of things on TikTok, a lot of reviews, a lot of people putting on stuff, to home decor. They're always giving us tags to swipe up, and it's instant. And you're like, if I don't do it right now, then the story's going to evaporate. So I got to hurry and buy this thing, right?
Yep.
How do you, as you're pushing things through your filter, how do you know when you should buy it, when you should rescue it, when you should purchase it and bring it home versus not buy it? Do you guys have something inside your body that tells you, I have to have this?
Like a radar?
It's confusing today. I feel like I was listening to a podcast. This is where this is coming from.
Yes.
And they were fashion experts talking about how trying to find our personal style is really hard right now because there's so many trends and micro trends that are happening, that are changing all the time, right? It's like, what's that Dr. Seuss book? It's like, this thing is in, now this thing is in, this thing is in, now hats are in, now, and you're like, oh my gosh, who am I? Yeah. Like you can have an identity crisis. You're like, Adidas Sambas, quick, I gotta buy them. And they're like, wait, Jess, you're not an Adidas Samba girl. You're not an athlete. You never would want, you would never.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You could put them on, but you'd look ridiculous. So let's really think about who we are before we just start buying everything people say is in style, right? Yeah. So how do you guys decide what goes home with you? I mean, I think both of you guys have a really good sense of personal style. So I think that helps. And you've lived a little while, but it'd be really confusing right now to be in your 20s.
Yeah.
With a million micro trends.
And like trying to find yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like it is easier when you've found yourself. You know,
Yeah.
One thing with clothes that I always do, I cannot order stuff online. I'm like a try it on in person type of guy.
Cori Place?
Yeah, it's
So
like a
you
must
just
for
don't
me.
buy clothes very often then, because when do you have time to shop?
Yeah, unless
that feels really limiting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go
So
out of town on vacation, you buy clothes.
Yep. It's like a thing, like a hobby or something fun to go do while you're out of town. Yeah, that's typically when I do
bought
it.
Sue a hoodie from a gas station in North Carolina once.
As you should have. Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly.
keep
And
talking.
I tried it on right then. You betcha.
It looked terrible on her, but I bought it anyway.
If I don't love it, especially like the first time
Yeah.
you put something on, you should be like, yes. Like if I don't love it, I don't buy it because I've realized I have so many things in my closet right now that I don't love that are brand new because I always go to the thing that I do love.
Yeah.
So if I don't love it, I don't buy it because I will pass it up. You know, like and the same thing for something in my home, like a chair, for instance, I wouldn't interact with it. I would go sit somewhere else because I don't love it. You know, like, yeah. So I really have to fall in love with something. And that means I've learned to take my time with things and not just buy things to fill a hole somewhere, you know, whether it's in my closet or my home.
And you make sure it looks great on you before you take it up to the register.
Yeah. So maybe I have to, I got to lose a couple pounds or something first, and then the jeans will fit better, whatever that is, set some goals, do that thing. But yeah, like as far as trends go though, like I've always been, I loved stripes, this shirt that I'm wearing right now, and then like green is in. So that's how it's like, okay, like I'm doing the green thing right now, but I've always been a stripes person. Like I could go back through like all of my old shirts and I have stripes from every Cori era, So that's where I think it's like important to know, like, not only if a trend is for you, but how you can like play within that trend.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Really
Do you know what I learned about myself?
Hmm.
I don't like wearing patterns. I know. Huge revelation. I'm like, Jess, Note to self, you keep returning all, you buy a box full of clothes, everything that's patterned goes back in the box. Stop buying patterns. I have to like say it out loud because I'd be attracted to it because we do design.
Yeah.
I need to just keep in mind, I can buy the pattern, but I'm not going to wear it. My closet's full of movement, if you will, patterns that don't get worn. So I need to just stick to solids.
Yep.
At least in this era that I know myself. Yeah. And also I feel like I know what colors are going to look good on me. And generally, because I'm blonde, I feel like I look dead in anything that's not dark.
Girl, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same.
So I just have to keep these things in mind. Now I want to stay open mindset because I get sick of myself. And as you guys have all heard me talk about loving to rearrange a living room, but I have to keep in mind that like these certain things are going to be more flattering for you. You'll wear them more often, more cost per use. It's worth getting it if it's not a pattern for me and if it usually has some depth to it so that it won't wash me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're going to like love, literally I've bought the thing I didn't love before and I'm like, I got to wear it because I bought it. And then you feel like crap all day. Yeah. And I'm just like, what am I doing to myself? It's torture.
Looking good is an instant mood booster too.
Totally.
You want to feel good.
Yeah. Feel good.
Yeah.
It's so true.
How do you decide, Sue?
I like one-of-a-kind things, whether it's for home or like, I think that's why I love vintage so much because I'm like, no one else has it anymore because they've all expired, you know?
Good luck finding this.
So you're only shopping in person also?
In person,
you're not buying
like
online?
When I've been direct marketed or whatever, like I'll only screenshot it, save it, throw it in a cart if it like stops me and I've never seen it before. You know what I mean?
So an
like,
originality factor.
I'm okay with a room full of heroes.
How often do you?
You are okay with that.
Like I know myself. I love a hero.
Yeah, you do.
I every time I'm not on Instagram much anymore, but like every time I am, I'm like, man, everything just feels the same.
Yeah.
Like do you get you get stuff where you're like, oh, that's interesting and new. You know,
every
feeling.
now and again I will. Yeah. And I think like it's probably like my algorithm has noticed that I love a hero. So they're shooting me a lot of heroes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Work the algorithm.
And I love it. And they'll shoot me like
she's riding it. She's surfing the algorithm.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if it makes me happy, then I'll usually get it.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I do think back to what you were saying about like if it doesn't fit or the scale isn't right, like on a chair, like I know those dimensions to look for to know if like it's the right amount of wrong to work in a room. I know if it's the right amount of wrong to work on my body, you know, because like I've done the asymmetrical haircut. I've done enough in my life to know what has worked and what hasn't because I have photo proof. You know, it is proof positive that I know what works and what doesn't. And so it's a really great place to be in your 40s.
Can we show a picture of Sue Hall with the asymmetrical haircut on the screen right now?
That's amazing.
I think I was like growing from short hair to long hair, and it was just like, maybe this will make it more interesting, this awkward face, to just cut half of it off. What the actual hell? Anyway.
This was while Sue was a design professional. This wasn't in her youth.
I know, but you know what? I love a change.
You do.
I think it's fun.
I do too. We all think it's fun.
It's proof that I lived, but I know now what I know, and I know not to do that again because it didn't do anyone favors. Obviously, we're clowning on me right now, so I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again.
We weren't then, though.
But you have to know what works, you know, to be able to like take the risk. And anyway, so figure that out about yourself.
I'll say this though. You weren't the only asymmetrical haircut at the time. So it wasn't like some wild, crazy idea. It was like, it
wasn't original?
No, you were original, but I just want to say a lot of things made sense when you did it.
Yeah, I'm like, the trends were there.
Right now it sounds like a crazy idea, but you pulled it off. You looked cute. You dressed cute.
Okay.
You weren't
you wasn't a lost cowboy then.
You did it well. Yeah, totally. But you learned that you didn't want to do an asymmetrical haircut again after you did it. And that's what we have to decide after we get a haircut. Is like, am I going to keep this up or am I growing this out?
And that's part of like learning, you know, you like, once you know that you don't like pattern, you're not going to throw that in your cardigan.
Or I will.
Or you will.
I might have to learn twice or three times.
But you'll just have to return it.
Yeah.
On the online.
Totally.
But I think that this comes down to like for a chair. Like if we're going to talk about chairs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some chairs.
Let's do it.
Because today on the podcast, we're going to focus in on this like very critical furniture piece that every single room has. It's getting a lot of attention right now, and we're going to help you shop for a really great chair. Yeah. And there's so many chairs. Like you have like your club chairs in the family room. You have your bar stools. You have dining chairs. You have the accent chair, which is like my very favorite thing, which I really want to like cue into because I just think it gives like the most personality.
Yeah.
You know, it's what tells you that room is. What tells you what that person's into is what that little chair does. And it's the sculptural piece.
Totally.
It's not even like the stuff like, yes, you're sitting in a comfy club chair. You're sitting in a really comfy sofa. But what are you looking at? Like, what's floating in front of the fireplace? What's by the TV console? You know, that's like giving back to the room. That's just like the wild haircut, you know, that's just like, wow, they're really fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's what my eye goes to. It's the hero.
In the industry, we call this the occasional chair. So she talked about a club chair, which is going to be a heavier, bigger, really comfortable chair. The occasional chair is Suzanne's favorite because it's usually up on legs or it's carved from a piece of wood, like that little African chair in your room.
Yes.
The occasional chair, you want a lot of little players in the room giving it this spice, right? And when we look at a space plan, usually your sofa is going to be the biggest thing in the room, or your sectional. Your coffee table is going to be big. But then when you start to add in all these little players, that's when the party gets started. And you want to pay close attention to these silhouettes that are going to give your room style, right? And they're going to give it a flair, and they're going to make it feel original. And you can't just fill your room with big things.
No.
Yeah.
It's the chairs. It's the lamps.
Yeah.
It's like all those little style points that make it pulse. Like it make you want to go back in there and take another round because there's more to look at.
Because you're like, these guys are so interesting.
Yeah, and I have to sit my bottom in that chair to see if it actually fits a human.
Yes.
'Cause it's such a weird thing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
We do that. We do that at market all the time. We just start sitting down on everything.
You do.
We want to experience it because it's so good looking. You want to be like, I want to try this out.
Yeah, and I think this is really important as you guys are shopping, like for your dining chairs, like what stops you in your track? For that occasional chair, what stops you in your track? Because the purchase is important. It's expensive. And I think since we do go to market so often, we like see chairs all day long. But it's the one that stops us that I'm like, oh, wait, that's special. Because I've seen so many of you today, but something just happened to my blood rate.
Yeah.
So
isn't that an awesome feeling?
it's a great feeling. And you're just like, they got it. They got it. And I have to have it. And that's when I know I want to drag it home.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes for me, it's like the fully upholstered leg. Because you're like, who runs the upholstery all the way down the leg, right? All the way around the arms.
Sicko.
Sometimes
So
it's a mix. Sometimes it's a
love
mix of materials. Sometimes it's a carving. It's an interesting silhouette.
the little finial on that Mr. Brown chair, like on their side. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I just
Or
love
Oli
the detail.
Studio, how they have an animal foot for the leg. Yeah.
So good, yeah. Just like these little bends and things like, and they might be subtle, but they make a difference and make you not look basic,
Yes.
right?
Oof. Well said. I
Okay.
love that.
You talked about the African chair. I want to talk about that for a second because
Let's
that
do
has
it.
migrated from like every room in like the attic to our home now, and it's a little piece that like Tom and I like we were up at an antique store in Salt Lake. And they had a bunch of these African antiques. And like, they were these like tribal chairs that were carved out of one trunk that can carry like a 350-year-old man, like could stand on it.
350
50-pound.
man. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's an
thank
old man.
That in Africa. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, it can hold a great deal of weight, but it was just so cool. And it's low to the ground and it's short. And like, I just love that thing and I'll forever have it. And so those are the things that are long lasting, that'll stay in your house, that'll stay in the wardrobe that you just couldn't not buy.
And you'll remember when you bought it too.
You
It's
will.
like
Sorry.
there's like, man, that was an
That
experience.
was
fun.
pre-kids, and
Yeah.
I've seen it through all these different lives now, you know, with these hellions. They're climbing on top of it, but all three of them can stand on it. Not a big deal.
For now.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's those little things that like wink at you when you walk in a room. And I look at it, I'm just like, I'm so glad I got you. Couldn't afford you when I bought you, but I
character
did it anyway.
pieces.
I dragged you home and you paid me back in spades.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
So
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite like little occasional chairs.
So
And it adds
good.
the personality.
I love
to the
it.
room.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about 4 features of a chair you should buy. Should we boil it down to
Let's
4
boil it down.
things?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can. So you talked about a good chair has a personality, like your African one. We have another great example that we can put up here. Those of you watching the YouTube feed of Angie Harrington, House of Harrington's, that entryway chair stands out to me as just a real hero and a scene maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fun thing about that one too, because she has a traditional like Tudor home. She has like all these other antique like pieces. She has that Thomas O'Brien, like that brass legged thing, the drafting table right there.
Yeah.
She has this crazy portrait, and then she has this wiry, modern, blocky chair that's just, it's just not comfortable.
It looks
But
like a
it's
metal
just-
frame that's had rubber threads. if you will, or
Just
plastic
kind of,
threads.
like,
You know,
wired
Mhm.
through
do you
the
guys
whole
remember
thing.
the jelly bracelet from the 80s that you'd hook together?
Yes.
do.
Madonna, and you'd
Mhm.
stack your armful of them. It's as though those jelly bracelets were long threads, and they're woven around this metal frame in every which way. And it just almost looks
That's
like
so good.
static that came to life, and it's this chair, and you'd be suspended on these plastic wires, if you will, if you sit down. Angie's sitting in it in one picture, but it's like pop art, you know,
Mhm.
as a chair. And it's such an attitude in this old Tudor home. And I think the juxtaposition of old and new come together right there, and you're just like, what, how, where? And people are like, where did you get? And we're like, it's the only one on earth. Like, you can't get it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's when you know it has personality. When someone's like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah."
Which is
Mhm.
fun
You're
because
right.
I think we all naturally like gravitate toward more than one style.
Yeah.
I talk to clients all the time. They're like, well, I'm historically this, but then I have a hard time because I like modern and I like this. I'm like, you can live with both.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of figure out like what is going to be like the personality, like what's going to be the shock.
Mhm.
If like you're mostly traditional, but then you like want some shock value, that's when you throw in a modern light or a modern chair, or, you know, a couple of those things to speak
Or
to each other.
modern art above a French chest.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
You actually want the tension of them coming together. You're not like, well, you can live with them both. You just feather them in softly. You stick
Mhm.
those guys right up against each other and you let them fight it out. And the tension is what makes it sing.
I was literally telling Mari this over the weekend because she wants to get some new art and stuff for her salon. And she was showing me pictures. I was like, this is just my opinion. It's your salon. You do whatever you want. But I feel like Daz was just saying that same thing. The interest comes from like the dichotomy of all of that
It
together.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do it in a
Yeah.
tasteful way. And you know, there are
Mhm.
things, but yeah, like, yeah, that's why I love a awesome chair with like personality, because, you know, it's something to remark on, but then, yeah, you can kind of, give the entire room a nod to like something else
Mhm.
and
Flex
create
a new
interest.
muscle,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
really, really, really interesting.
So good. The second one we have is a good chair offers a good sit.
Yep.
And I would say this is true most of the time. This is always true for the club chair in the room. This is going to be the husband's favorite chair, or whoever likes to sit and read. Maybe it's grandma that wants to sit with the grandkids on her.
Yeah.
You definitely need a chair in the room that offers a great sit. And if it sits great, they'll want to stay longer, which I think could be a good thing.
Yeah.
So a couple things that make a chair sit great are going to be the height off the ground,
Yeah.
right?
And this is an interesting point because if you like take a tape measure to all your like seating that's probably in your room, you're likely around 18 inches for the seat height. That's like a really standard one for most humans.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you're 5'8", right, Jess?
Yeah.
Tell them about the chair when we sat in it at Market.
Yeah, there's this yellow chair. Well, they made it in a yellow mohair, I believe. And it's based off of an antique. And it's a rolled arm, just, you know, high backed, just kind of tight back, tight seat kind of chair. But because it's based off of an antique, I don't know if the legs originally got worn down or what, but this seat height is sitting down at 15 inches high. So that's 3 inches lower than most chairs. It made it so loungy. Like you just kind of, and the pitch on the seat was just right and the pitch on the back was just right. And it just held you back and low, and you could cross your legs your ankles way out in front of you. You didn't have to sit up properly with your legs crossed. And the lowness of it gave it a more loungy feel. And I did not want to get out of that chair. Yeah, I loved it. I bought it for the floor. It's sold already. I need to buy that again so that people can buy it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. So seat height, playing around with seat height, I also think is like interesting characters in a room. And even though I'm tall for a woman, 5'8" for a man is probably average, or maybe even.
Average, yeah.
So, so there's definitely taller people and whatnot. And I don't know what's going to be good for you, but I think much like you guys like to shop in person for things, I think you should shop in person for that chair.
I do too.
It should sit great to your body. And you're going to want to pay attention to the way that the way that you like really relax, put your head back, make sure it's pitched just right for you and that you can stay there for a while, you know? Yeah.
I'm thinking about like our listeners might like find a chair like that and be like, this is really comfortable. That's an abnormal seat height. But the space planning of what they're dealing with is like right next to a big bulky sofa.
Yeah.
What would you do in that case? I would think that we would just do a little bit different space planning so they're not right next to each other.
Agreed.
To see how different they are, but just that they're complementing each other. So again, special chairs, things like that, they're like not like your main seating, but something that still you want to have sit comfortably, should be like a conversation piece to the big pieces so they're not right next to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. There's also a thing with if you're sitting really big and solid and heavy, that you want to give some relief by putting something near it with legs. The coffee table can do that for you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sacrifice comfort if you don't want. We also say too many legs in a room make the room feel nervous. So you do want some pieces grounded, some pieces elevated to give the relief in a space. And so kind of pay attention to that too as you're looking for occasional chairs versus lounge chairs is what are these things sitting next to? You know, because also a great side table can give a lot of relief, a lot of legginess, a lot of openness. So that's also sort of part of the composition. But we were talking good sit. So height off the ground, seat width. If you want to be able to have that little grandbaby sit next to you and read, maybe you want more of a chair and a half. Or maybe it's just for you and you love sitting alone, you love having your own arms, and this is your command chair and you're going to watch TV and nobody's going to bug you in it, right? So you pay attention to what sits best for you there on the width.
So therefore, like in any of the rooms that you're looking for a chair, or like you fall upon one, just understand like the functionality of the room. What is the key important pieces for that? Make sure that those are satisfied before you buy some of like these occasional things that might not sit as great.
Yeah, like the African chair.
Yeah. I'm not going to rock a baby in there.
Yeah.
So, for sure. So
That's great.
I like what you're saying. And ironically, like with the seat height, just how you talked about, sometimes seat widths can like surprise you on like what's comfortable. Because if it is just for you, like the Milo Boffman one that we have in there.
I tell you, I was thinking of that
sits
same
low,
thing.
low slung and like tight, and it just squishes you like a baseball glove.
Yeah.
I just love it. Like he really knew
know.
what he was talking about.
Yeah,
It's so good.
It's the pitch too.
It's
Yeah.
the pitch and it's the width. It's just like absolutely perfect for like so many different sizes of human.
We put Drew in it, who's probably like 6'2".
Yeah.
And he has a bad back and his back hurt. And we were like, we'll sit in this antique chair. We're playing around. We really love the mechanism. And so we rescued a couple of these Milo Boffman tub tilt chairs. Anyway, you guys, I was like, Drew's going to look like he's wearing a diaper sitting in this chair. It is so small because it's vintage, you know, and I think the people were just all smaller then. Think about your grandma. She was much smaller than you, I'm sure of it. He loves it. Yeah. Look, and actually at first you're like, oh yeah, that's a fat guy in a little coat, right? Like this is going to look too small for
like
him.
all arms and legs.
But he was like, this is amazing. It sits so good. So even though something looks small, you should still sit in it because it might be just the right cradle. And you can get a big sit in a small chair sometimes, but you don't know unless you shop in person and really try these things on and
Goldilocks.
decide. It is Goldilocks. See what just
100%.
fits just right. Yeah.
Oh,
It's the fill too and the construction of it. I mean, like that's.
Yeah.
Adam and I went to a furniture fair in China recently. Walked 17 miles. I sat in so many chairs and saw so many. It was at least 4 miles worth of chairs. It was insane. But yeah, I mean, just the not all fill is created equally. Yeah. So that's something definitely
matters.
to pay attention to.
Yeah, I agree. Back height and arm placement are also very important in a good chair. Back height, because I feel like for the men in my life, they think a chair is great if they can put their head back. And my dad even likes a wing so he can like nestle his head, as he calls it, into the crotch of the chair where the wing and the back come together. He calls everything a crotch when two things come together. I'm like, not everything's a crotch, Dad. But anyway, he likes to be able to, nestle his head, like rest it on the wing while his back is still against it. And then he can take his 10-minute power nap. So keep that in mind too, that if you are buying this chair for the man of the house, make sure that this is going to allow him, if he wants to be able to put his head back, which is hard today because a lot of silhouettes are low and you're not going to be able to rest your head back.
Which is another reason why like buying online is a really bad idea, especially like you got to put your body in it.
Yep.
I feel like on all
if you care, which I think if you're listening to the podcast, you probably care about these things. Yeah.
But I think to your point about the arm height, I think we've all sat in a like poorly designed thing that had the arm height like too high or too low, and you're like, I don't know how to like sit on you.
I'll just hold my own elbows because the chair's not going to do it for me.
Right here. Yeah. So I'm like, that is important again, just to put your human body in it and like see if like, and like once you start like, now that you've listened to this, you'll start to pay attention to it. When you do sit in this and be like, okay, arm height is good, back height's good, tilt's awesome on the seat and on the back. That pitch is right. So yeah, just now I think everyone will cue in hopefully to these little things.
Yeah. So good.
Do you want me to say 3?
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. A good chair has a killer silhouette.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
So
Yep.
do we need to say anything else?
No.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I will say an example of this, I believe our Jude chair is definitely a bestseller for us. And this is one that we've based off of an antique that we just love. It's a Swiss architect called Generet is his last name. And we just love this silhouette so much. So we pay homage to him. We changed it enough, but it's interesting. There's a something in the furniture industry that called show wood. That if you can on your chair show wood and fabric, then you can like do cool things with the frame. So this chair offers both. You're getting a mixed media piece with walnut wood, which is, prize when it comes to mid-century. And I think so much furniture construction, if you use walnut, you boast walnut, right? Yep. So we have a walnut frame, and then we've got these really big, beautiful arm pad silhouettes. The back pitch is just perfect. The seat pitch is perfect. And you've got these cool angled legs, giving the room really good angles. And I love the 3/4 angle of this chair, sort of sitting, on an angle in a room.
Yep.
Looks really good.
It's architecture.
Great side
for
profile.
A room.
It is architecture for a room. Yeah.
Especially when you get the wood component.
Yeah. And we've got like a really beautiful welt on it. I think the tailoring is beautiful. We've come out with it in a couple different fabrics. Most recently, kind of a beautiful woven in either a charcoal or blue. Isn't it cool?
Yes. No, I was like sitting over there yesterday looking at both of them.
Yeah.
It's so good to even see that like little structured weave on that silhouette. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
So rad.
I love it so
and you
much.
could stack 2 of these in not very much space at all and have 2 chairs, 2 armchairs.
Ridiculously comfortable.
So comfortable. Or you throw one of these on an angle in a room, or 2 in an office as guest chairs. In a bedroom, you could definitely do it foot of bed, 2 at foot of bed. They just all of a sudden give you instant style points while being perfectly comfortable, especially for a tight back, tight seat. Right?
Mhm.
Usually for that kind of comfort, you need a loose cushion on both tight and back, and then you lose a silhouette. And this thing, I feel like, has it all.
Yep.
Yeah,
That it always looks good.
it does,
Never
which is
gets
important.
For the tilt of the chair, Adam and I, when we were in Indonesia last summer, we were just having the guys take like a 1/4 or half an inch off of the back legs till we just like found it like perfectly.
Yeah.
And so, like we spent a lot of time, probably 4 hours just one day, just going
getting
over
the posture
through.
right.
Yep. And the seat width, like the width as well. So I feel like we spent a lot of time and we nailed it. Like by the time we were, Adam's what, 6'2", 6'2", and I'm 5'11". So by the end of it, we were both like, this is it. We were raising and lowering
this is the
arm height.
recipe. Yeah.
And so, I feel like it can fit, small frames, big frames alike. And
So good.
So
yeah,
rad.
I love that.
super good.
There's a science to it, guys.
Definitely. So look for a killer silhouette in a chair. The last one we give is a good chair has motion. This is the number 1 category right now in chairs when we go to market. Everybody's like, come see the swivel chair, the tilt back, the tub tilt, the rocker, people want to move in their chairs. It's definitely something that emotionally feels good. You all have that friend that sort of sits and shakes their ankle. They like to fidget. I have a daughter that likes to fidget, so she just learned how to crochet so she can just keep her hands moving because it's soothing to their nervous system.
Therapy. Yeah.
And I think having a chair have motion just feels good. Also, like grandma can swivel rock with a grandkid, or it's interesting in our household, if we're at my mom's house, everybody fights for the chair with motion.
Yeah.
And then from there, they fight for a single chair. And then those people that didn't come fast enough have to sit on the couch, and they don't get 2 arms, or then they have to sit on the ground.
They can wait.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But motion is something that people love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the thing that honestly that I go to.
Yeah.
Like if I can
What's your favorite kind of motion in a chair?
I love a swivel.
Yeah.
I love a swivel. Yeah. I think too, and I think the fun thing about a swivel too, when replacing them in other people's homes as well, is that kind of this appreciation for like interior, exterior. Like there's usually more than one master in a room. You have a TV, you sometimes have a fireplace, you have a beautiful view. So like, again, you can kind of like tailor all these different conversations because you do have a swivel. Like I can face the fireplace and like talk to a friend, or I can look out the view, or I can go look at the game. And so I don't know, it kind of like you can kind of be you're in charge of like what you're looking at. And I think it's just soothing too. I think the older you get, the more you want to move.
Yeah.
Or you're just probably used to not sitting still. So it just gives you the ability to sit still while still moving.
Yeah.
So I love a swivel. What about you?
A swivel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends. I think there's also a place in a nursery or a kid's room for a rocker glider. I think that motion is just so soothing, you know, as you're putting toddlers to bed or babies to bed. And it's also very relaxing, but I think definitely the swivel is the most, probably the most common for us in projects. Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Always.
Okay. The swivel rocker plus a like glider, like when it has all of them, I feel like I'm in a wild
seasick.
house. Like I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I'm
too
like,
much.
choose
Too
your
much
adventure.
motion.
Like I can't swivel and like rock and slide. It's like a weird dance.
You're like doing a left-handed cartwheel. You're like, I don't know if this is how I'm supposed to ride this chair.
It's broke. Is it broken? It might be broken.
I do.
Does this come with a seatbelt?
Strap me.
No, need a harness.
Yeah.
Just had to say that out loud.
That's
So
I
pick
agree
your
with you.
adventure.
That's too much motion.
It's
There
too
is
much.
such thing as too much
I know,
motion.
calm down.
Yeah.
Calm it down.
Definitely.
Oh,
How
but-
about you? What's your favorite, Corey?
I would say, I would have said swivel before we got those like tub tilts in, but that's what I would say. I just
Yeah.
love
Tub
the fact
tilt.
of being able to just like push back and kind of, I don't know, like you said, you can just be a part of everything in the room if you can, move left to right. So yeah.
He nailed it. Like on the tilt, maybe it's like the swivel tilt. I'm down for that. But just
Yeah.
like all of I just feel loosey.
Too much.
Yeah.
You can't glide and swivel and
Too
tilt. Yeah.
I
It's too
know.
much. Well, we have a really good one that just landed about a month or two ago called the Harvey swivel chair.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tight back, tight seat. It's a tub chair. And I feel like the silhouette on this is so sleek and chic, and it looks fantastic everywhere we put it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got it in 3 places on the showroom right now. 3 different colorways. We've got a bone leather, a blue velvet, and a green velvet.
Yep.
We did 4 green velvet in a around a cocktail table in like an X formation in Rachel's basement, and that is like the magnet of the room. Everybody loves A, the color of it, but B, just their motion, and so you can again move and yell at the kids or talk to someone in the kitchen or watch the game on TV or be in the conversation with your sisters. And it's just such a fun space. Yeah, I love the arrangement of it, but Harvey, I think it's tailored so well.
Yep.
And-
We paid attention to every seam in that. We were just like, we had a couple of, I don't know if you remember, but we had some other like seam
Oh,
placements
God,
in it.
yeah.
We were just like,
The tailoring, it
yeah.
matters.
That's really
It
totally
turned
does.
it turned a pretty good chair into a really cool chair by dropping the seams a certain way. On the arms, we did a certain detail. By putting a welt here and there, sharpened and crisped the lines. And
the seams that run down the back into the seat of it.
yeah.
So pretty.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so rad. And
We tried baseball stitches. It was too much.
Mhm.
And so we took away the baseball stitch and just did a really clean,
yeah.
just a really clean seam.
And then we messed with like the shape of the seat back too. If
Mhm.
you remember that, that's where I realized, like in my opinion, shoulder, like the way my shoulders are supported in a chair is what matters most to me. That's like if a chair is hitting me mid back, I'm like, I feel, like one of those things out in front of IKEA or whatever.
Mhm. Discount tire.
Yeah, exactly. But with that, it's like just right on my shoulder blades,
Yeah.
and I feel totally
Feel
supported.
taken
Yeah,
care of.
exactly.
At the end of the
yeah.
day, you feel taken care of.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
Well, I hope the 4 features of a chair you should buy help you as you guys decide what you want to bring into your life and into your home. Be very discerning. It really does matter. And it's fun to get the mix and try a few things. And not all chairs have to sit perfectly comfortable.
No.
Sometimes their job is just to look really good. And in an instance of a big crowd, you can always pull that toward, into the room and people can sit in it. But you want the style points. You definitely want the lounge points where it matters, the motion points if you can get them. It's going to be a really hard working room for you, but a lot of style.
And don't buy it unless it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even if it's supposed to be a more calm silhouette, still have it be killer. There's points there to be, I think, taken. So
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we hope this conversation helped you sit more comfy and pretty and feel more confident as you're out shopping for great chairs for your own home. We're going to post the links for the specific pieces that we mentioned here as a helpful resource, and it will be helpful for us to hear from you. So if you love the podcast, leave a review or a 5-star rating. And if you have a design question you would like to have answered here, please email us at dearalice@alicelanehome.com. We'd love to hear from you. We read every comment, we answer our DMs, and we appreciate your support and feedback. Thanks so much for listening, you guys. We'll catch you next time. Hey, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating.